Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to talk about some of the clarifications from the recently passed S386 bill by Senate and HR 1044 bill by Congress last year. I'm also going to address some of the questions for H1B changes that were cancelled and some of the impacts that this bill, if passed, will have on certain different categories of visa. There are also some more clarifications that I would like to make based on the number of questions that I have been getting on my email. So if you are interested in this topic, please watch this video until the end because I am sure you will get value out of it. So let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. For your specific immigration needs, you should hire a competent immigration attorney. Now with that said, let's get started. Now recently I made a video on S386 bill being passed by the Senate. And I would like to say that if you actually read this bill, it is very cryptic and very confusing. The language used in these bills and the words that are minced are extremely difficult to understand. It makes references back and forth to certain sections, certain amendments, certain subsections and confuses the hell out of the readers. When you click on one section, it takes you to another section where it references third section which is also on another page. So if you try to read this bill, good luck with it. Apart from reading the bill, I also went through some of the government websites and institutions such as Cato who has summarized it a little bit further for us. I'm going to leave those links in the description, but I'm going to run you down through the summary again. Now some of the things will repeat, but there are some more clarifications that I would like to make because of some of the questions that I have been getting. Now the main thing that this bill does, apart from the several other things that it does, is remove the per country cap for the employment based visa. So it is still 7% cap, but this bill, if it becomes a law, will remove that per country cap. For family based migration, it will increase the cap from 7%, which is current, to 15%. Now this act for Senate is called Fairness for Skilled Immigrants Act of 2020, which was supported by 14 senators. Now mind you, this was also passed as a different bill in Congress, which had a bipartisan support as well. Another thing to note is they have proposed a transition period. Basically what it means is it will ensure that not all of these visas go to the backlog countries, because if that happens there will be no visas left for any other country for several years, and those are some of the conditions that are added as part of this bill that was eventually passed in Senate. Now another thing that I mentioned in my previous video, which is the biggest impact to the beneficiaries if this bill becomes into a law, is early filing of the EADs. So currently what it is even if your 140 is approved and if a visa number is not available for you, it may take you years and years to finally be able to apply for adjustment of status, which will then qualify you for an EAD card, an advanced parole card. Under a provision that is in this bill, if passed, it will allow early filing of the adjustment of status and will allow the individuals to file for an EAD, which is special EAD, which will be valid for 3 years. So say for instance, if your 140 is approved, has been approved for over 2 years, and you will be able to file 485 and you will also be eligible to file for an EAD which will have the validity of 3 years. Now this is different than the adjustment of status EAD, because that used to be valid only for 1 year to start with and then 2 years subsequently, but here they are talking about 3 years validity for this EAD card. The only caveat is every time you file for an EAD, you'll have to prove that you have a bona fide job offer as stated in 140. How do you prove that? It is by supplement J, and also there is a filing fee of $2,000 for the primary applicant, which is incredible because this will allow a lot of people who have been endlessly working on their H1B extensions to be able to get an EAD and have that job flexibility that the EAD brings along. So hope that point is clear, because a lot of people had questions on this particular point as well. Now I just wanted to remind you that all of this is only applicable if this bill becomes a law. If this becomes a law, They also want to make sure that for people who have already been waiting for a long number of years will be eligible to get a green card first, then the people who come later. So for the newer applicants, it would take the proportionate number of time to get their green card, and if you have been waiting for your green card for a long time, you will be first in the line. So this bill also addresses this provision. Now some people also ask me, if Congress has already approved HR 1044 and Senate has passed the S386 bill, so now what's stopping it to become into a law and go to the President for signing? So while it is true that both bills have been passed, S386 is based on HR 1044, but it has more provisions and it has more amendments that Senator Lee had to take into account to pass this bill in unanimous consent. So the changes proposed in this Senate bill are on top of what were proposed in HR 1044. So now this bill has to go back to Congress. Congress has to see if there are any provisions, if they will agree to all these changes passed by the Senate and pass it again. Now if they add any more condition on top of the already existing conditions then it has to come back to Senate to be repassed again. So this is kind of a ping pong thing that happens in Congress and Senate for a lot of bills. So we'll have to wait and see if Congress and Senate can come to a middle ground and can pass this quicker. If not, it can drag on for months. Now another question that I get is, if the bill is passed by both House and Senate, can it be signed by the current president? If they are able to come to the common ground, and if it happens before January of 20th, yes, the current president can sign it. Now another question was also regarding this allocation of green card numbers to H1B holders. Basically, not more than 70% of the green cards will be given to H1B and H4 holders. Remember, green card numbers are not only taken by the primary applicants, which is H1B, they are also taken up by the dependents and spouses. So for each family or household, in the number of dependents that the primary applicant has mentioned on their green card application. So you can appreciate how fast these green card numbers could be used up. Now this percentage of 70% will be dropped to 50% of after the transition period. Now another thing that could happen is they may try to pass this bill or piggyback this bill as part of this omnibus bill that has got a lot of attention. That is the second stimulus package bill for the COVID response, which is in the Congress and Senate. They do this a lot of times when smaller bill don't get passed on its own merit. They club it as part of a bigger bill that has a likelihood of passing. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now another important thing that I want to mention is, if President signs this bill into law, it will be effective of October 1st, 2022. Now I have not made a video on H1B LCA changes that were set to take effect on December 7th. The H1B final interim rule that was set to take effect on December 7th is not going through. It has been cancelled. Both USCIS and DOJ have cancelled their plan to make any changes to these H1B rules. Now the H1B interim rule that was passed in October, that had 3 different lawsuits. So particularly for the wage changes and H1B rule changes, a judgment from US Chamber of Commerce has come in and that has blocked it. So the changes such as 1-year approval limit for the third party placement H1B extensions, the site visits, wage level 1 to 4 changes that were significant, both USCIS and Department of Labor have cancelled to proceed on these changes. So the changes that were set to take effect on December 7th are cancelled. Now the another thing is the perm wage increase rule was also blocked by a judge in New Jersey. Now several things could happen. Since this was challenged and since this was stopped by the judge, particularly for not following the process on behalf of USCIS and DOJ, they could come back and challenge this ruling in the higher court. They could file an appeal, or they could just altogether cancel this. So I'll keep a tab on all of these changes in the near future. So subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so that you get notification of any of the changes that I mention in my forthcoming videos. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in the next one.